This podcast contains descriptions of extreme violence, body horror, and adult language. Please check the description for details. Viewer discretion is advised.
Effectively after witnessing, Vex's, strange regeneration, they are like, this is something we can comment on about after, but, like, it's so intriguing to them, or it, like, gets them feeling something so much right, that they're just like, wonder if they're gonna need to say there are two people who can solo the Iron Asura.
Huh? What? Sorry? That's a bold claim. What are you talking about?
That actually seems to make Vex slightly, like, sober up a bit. She blinks a couple of times, looks back at at Asura, looks to Hyde. I'm not sure I'd go that far.
You can't just throw around my whole thing like that, huh?
Well, I'm just saying. Didn't you see what just happened? They point to Vex. I'm not sure the extent of that, but, I mean...
Trust me, I still have the same qualms about getting torn up as anyone would. We're wasting time. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, sure, fair enough.
And with that, feel free to fix your parts, Vex and Vex alone. Not that it matters, because the other two of you did not get damaged.
Yeah. As they start walking onward as well, Asura, starts, walking slightly faster, passes by Vex, gets to Hyde, right? Goes, takes a hand, sort of points to around his, lower cheek, chin area. By the way, pal, you got some blood there.
He moves a hand to wipe.
Nothing. There's nothing there.
He just takes a minute. He takes out his fucking mirror and goes to look at himself in it. His grip around the mirror tightens a little bit.
All right. And you carry on. The environment around you. Now, you can't help but notice, as you look around and as you recall to what you were dealing with earlier, that the strange figure that you witnessed who had the bells around their fingers, they did not seem to make an appearance, and you hear no more movement. The bells, which are wrapped around the various flesh pillars, lie dormant, occasionally maybe one of them jingling slightly from just the natural pulsations of the flesh around here. But there seems to be no sign of them. Wherever they've gone, it seems to be through some pathway that perhaps only they know about. You continue onwards, and you do manage to eventually navigate this area to an extent that you can actually make out that the flesh and the mycelium begins to lower in density once more, in the same way as the entranceway to this building was slightly less gruesome and horrifying, though not by much. You begin to see the walls peeking through every now and then, and you see that beneath a film of grim skin is a glowing sign indicating that there is stairs nearby, and you do see that there is a set of stairs leading upwards with the various flesh fading away as it goes up the steps, seemingly to give way to more normal architecture.
Something's telling me this is a lot more of an eye of the storm than any sort of break for a extended period of time. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So you, as much as you think to maybe look for another entrance or some such, you resolve to go up the stairs because ultimately there is, even if there was an elevator shaft, you feel as if it might be harrowed enough by these growths, it would not be of any use. So you continue upwards, and the reassuring sturdiness of concrete reassures itself against the bottoms of your feet as you step upwards, and you emerge onto a new floor.
Ooh.
The atmosphere and the feeling of this floor is far and away a complete departure from the bottom floors. It was mentioned by Carnot earlier that the bottom floors of this place were pretty much dedicated toward, the mushroom, the fungi type of growth, and that holds true, as when you go up a couple of flights, there is just various grow basins that meet you instead, and as before, it seems that the various windows, either by virtue of being naturally blacked out for the sake of the operation of the UV lights, or being blocked up by even just black paint, or more of this strange flesh, but strangely isolated from the rest of the bottom floor shenanigans. You see that there is actually a couple of floors where you head up, and there just seems to be nothing out of the ordinary, except for a notable presence of those azure butterflies. They seem to pay you no mind, but they are busily at work, seemingly, tending to all of this leafy growths. It's odd. It's as if they've been used as a replacement to the staffing in this area, and they seem to be good at it. The place is flourishing, overgrowing even. Do you continue up, or is there anything that you try to do before you do so?
I guess, I imagine it's hard to tell, because these are just, like, butterflies, right? But is there anything in particular that we can see that they're, like, specifically doing, or is it just sort of, like, generic, like, tending to it? Are they, like, all working, like, together? Is it, like, a particular thing that they seem like... Like, I know I'm asking kind of, like, a weird specific question, but I guess, like... Or more so a vague question, but, like, is there anything, like... Any intentionality besides just caring that we can gauge from the butterflies' movements?
Yeah, I mean, you can certainly... You stop and you observe for a while. You watch to see what they're doing. This is exceptionally odd. I mean, butterflies, The thing is, in this city and in this day and age, just in general, trees and plant life are something that are hard to come by, and most people only hear about it in passing, in I wouldn't say legend, but definitely as like a thing of like, oh yeah, trees, like, those things that no one gets to see anymore, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the same, even these leafy greens, this level of like greenery, you almost all feel kind of privileged just to be able to see, this. It's a lot of like watercress and spinach and stuff which is simple to grow, stuff that can be done in these basins. And butterflies, as a result, if you weren't already seeing these for like the week prior, leading up to this, you would have, your first reactions would have been like, huh, I don't see these ever. I don't get to see butterflies ever. And so it's really only by their reputation that you know that these things tend to be attracted to flowers, to greenery, this kind of thing. So that seems normal, you think? But You look a little longer, and you realize after a time that they are actually behaving with a level of intentionality which you don't believe should be doable by insects. They, at least purely, they seem to be occasionally, like, crawling over various devices and seemingly, like, not manipulating the devices to, like, to function or anything, but they seem to be crowding around the displays and looking at them, and you see that there's other groups of butterflies which are, like, going to the various water sources, and you see occasionally some of them pick out some debris which they are capable of lifting out of the water in order to not block any of the pipes or anything. You see that occasionally they come along and they will crawl around the soils and the waters and just this is the part which you realize is unnerving. You are fairly certain butterflies are not meant to look like this, because you see one of them open up a sharply toothed maw that runs not just vertically down its head, but also down its body, as it grabs onto what looks like a small beetle and just eats it, as it stops it from being any kind of bother to the plant life that's in here. And you realize that these things are essentially pest control in a lot of ways.
Huh. Now, if I didn't know any better, I'd think this is a dream.
Holy shit. No, I think I've got it.
Huh?
They of clay are taking over the grow tower, using their own flesh, or the flesh that they get, to feed the plants. And then one of them has these butterflies to take care of it, and overlook everything. They're not just taking it over just to hold on to it, they're actually working it.
All the more reason to burn them out, then.
You don't think that there's, a couple of the guys that are these butterflies, do ya? We know that they like to mess around with themselves, right?
Vex kind of just adjusts the mask covering her face. I'm not sure if anything has surprised me anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so either, for on my part. I'm just sort of spitballing here, you know?
Yeah. Given that at least on the surface it said that the They of Clay are meant to be a small gang, I'd have to wager that if it can't just be they have 1,000 or so members that are just butterflies.
Well, we already know that they've been trapping collectors in here, yeah? Might have other people.
And I think with that thought, you kind of move on. You move past all of these azure butterflies that continue at their work. Their beautiful wings almost iridescent against the UV light beating down upon them, and you make your way up a couple of floors before you realize that you are no longer seeing the same thing. At one point, you walk into one of these grow basin floors, and you note that there is a palpable difference in the population of butterflies in the air, to a point where you are seeing swarms of them overhead, and you hear their fluttering and the batting of their wings against one another as they can't find enough room to fly unaccosted by one another, as these swarms kind of zoom overhead, causing this ruckus and this cacophony as they do so, seemingly some of them stopping and taking note of you as this happens. You walk out amongst all of these basins, and you see ahead of you there is this kind of like these sets of hallways which give a clear line of sight to an open area in front of you, and you spot amongst the various azure butterflies is a lone standing figure who is is stood with their hands clasped as if in prayer, and you see these kind of not ragged, quite well-kept robes with various, embroidery on it, draped over what you can only assume is her body, according to her presentation. And I wouldn't say she looks like a nun, but she looks like a religious figure of sorts. And you can't see her eyes, they are shaded by the robes, the hood which kind of goes over her head, but she has this blissful smile on her face as she spots you, and she just goes, "Ah, our guests."
Vex just unsheathes her blades.
You could, brought out some, nicer people to welcome us in.
Or people.
That too.
Ah, I see you met some of our converts. I am so sorry that you had to deal with their less than welcoming attitude. It is only part of why we must be cautious. We've had so many interlopers, so many non-believers, so many who have come through our halls and sought to destroy us. I can't help but feel that you are here to do the same. Why is that so? We do not but practice our faith, not but pursue a life of malleability, of clay, and we are scorned for it. Do you not see myself prostrated in prayer, giving reason, speaking with you as of now? She opens her arms in a welcoming way, and says, "Come, let us speak. We need not fight." And you hear another voice at this point, which you realize that with these narrow kind of views of the halls in front of you, she's framed quite strangely with the light coming from behind her, as you hear this secondary voice as flesh and bone clatters to what you assume to be the tiled floor. And it's this gruff voice that changes in pitch with each sentence, seemingly, and goes, "Why do we bother? We know how this will turn out. Let me show them our power. Let us prove what we are here to do. No, you know that is not our way. You know that Azul would not have it that way. Fine. I'll wait. Only as long as they do." And you see coming into view is this strange visage that comes into silhouette behind this figure. It is stitched together from multiple different bodies, their arms and legs in different lengths, some of it quite animalistic, and the thing to change the entire thing to extremely non-human is a head which seems to be constructed from some kind of horse-like skull, with the inside, the innermost parts, the sockets and the nostrils and the jaws laced with flesh in between them to lend this strange, almost animated skull look to it. And it kind of lands itself on all fours behind this religious figure and looks at you.
Hyde, upon seeing all of this, does tilt their head as though still appraising them, and gently moves a hand to their chin. "Well, to tell you honestly," he, shuffles his hands around in his pockets. "Most of the reason is that people are intimidated by the fact you've taken refuge in a really important place."
Yeah, that's sort of the problem here. Your place of worship that you've chosen is a little unfortunate.
This is precisely why we must be here. It is precisely why we have taken this space. No others before us saw exactly the potential in having a place like this, in proving that our ways, our faith, can produce fruit. And she gestures to the food around you. Azul knew as much. Azul knows our ways, and we follow.
Now, how much of this fruit you're producing is what was already here, and how much of it's your own labor?
And the one behind her goes, I'm tiring of them. Come on. This is pointless. All of the ones who've gotten this far have just swung. And yet they don't. Calm yourself, Godman.
You know, Vex just sort of like sighs. Part of her looked like, you know, almost like half crouched, like ready to just start fighting as soon as the other two do, but since they do seem to be speaking, she straightens just a bit. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm smart, like I understand all the philosophical, you know, religious, whatever you guys have got going on. I fully admit, most of the time I have no friggin' idea what's going on in people's heads, but you claim to want to just spread your faith to, you know, to practice whatever it is you're preaching, right? And you know, to a certain extent, I get it. Plenty of people in this damn city get it. Our bodies are just a tool. And yet, for all you claim to be wanting to just practice things peacefully, to talk things out with everybody, tell me this, did you have a nice long discussion with the collectors down there who came in here about what they wanted to be before you turned them into miserable, anguished fucking viscera and slag? Did you do that, bitch?
Oh, it's becoming clear to me that you do not see as we do. It is only a gift to become clay. It is only a boon. They came down and they were lost. They always have been. The collectors, they take, they manipulate. And they cause these poor souls to have to be sent into these horrible places, to be sent to their dooms. We offered them a new way to experience life. They rejected it when they decided to level their arms against us. At least she understands exactly what it's like to have a body, puppets, meat to be altered. But I get the feeling you've got a bloodthirst that you're just waiting to unleash.
I'm done with this. Asura, you want the big guy?
Yeah, I'll take him.
Hyde closes his eyes. I understand. He clenches his hands. The desire to make yourself look how you want, to be beautiful. However, he leans back into a fighting stance. I just don't think we're gonna see eye to eye on the extent. Real sorry it has to do like this.
It always ends this way, Velx. It always does. Let's do this. And you see a slathering tongue lap out from his bony jaw as the combat begins. Let's get the map properly set up. As the fight begins, you see that the butterflies overhead swoop down to begin to accost you. Let me find the sheet that says how many there are.
Vex. Asura. I know it's probably tempting to go in and just start going ham. But if I had to guess, that Godman is looking to tear us up more than we're looking down to tear him. I think he should come to us first. He says, like, under his breath to these two.
Whatever works.
So, start of combat. You see this all take place, and yeah, you watch as the forces gather against you. Vex, you are still faster than anyone. That is one of the main benefits of your build.
Yeah. I think with what Hyde said, Vex will instead look to the group of butterflies here, and I think she's gonna move here to try to go for them.
Yeah, you dash forwards and into the grow basin hallway, which is choked with butterflies. Their gnashing teeth becoming much clearer as they move towards you. The other thing that I should note here is that if you use area attacks while in one of these hallways, then you risk damaging the grow basins. Same for anything, if you miss with something with, like, explosive as well, or stagger, or anything like that while you're in a grow basin hallway, then you will destroy infrastructure, which will mean that you will basically nix your chances at extra pay, and you will likely have the collectors on your ass about it. With that in mind, it's Godman. What Godman is going to do is he's raring to go, and he is like literally like itching. You can see him about to like launch off, and I'm gonna make a secret roll real quick. Vex, you can't see this, but Asura and Hyde, you still have an angle on this. You watch as Velx suddenly crouches down next to Godman, and whispers into his ear, and all of a sudden, Godman seems to, like, cock his head towards her. He snarls and, like, seemingly does a motion of, like, spitting on the floor before clenching his claws and, like, his entire body, basically, and slamming his fist into the ground in frustration as he stays put. And, he's actually going to wait until you're all on the same count. So, we have a clusterfuck here.
Yeah.
Every single person is acting at once. So,
oh boy.
What you are going to see happen is... Now, here's how the butterflies work, and this is why they are threatening. The butterflies do not have to roll attacks. They simply apply damage, and that damage cannot be reduced.
Oh boy.
It is only 1 damage, however. It does not matter how many of them are in the zone with you, it's just 1. So the other butterflies are going to move into this zone. Since it's simultaneous, it does not... If you move into that zone, you will not be able to target them until the next count, unfortunately. But Godman and Velx, they are actually... They are waiting. And they are just staying put. They are both looking to hold their turns. It seems that these two, or at the very least, Velx seems to have a head on her shoulders that is keeping this to be a fairly interesting fight. Actually, that being said, do you know what I think they're going to do? Velx is actually going to back up, and so is Godman, into 2 different hallways.
I see. Hey guys, if we just stand here, they might just back their way up all the way to the top floor.
So, since it happens simultaneously with the butterflies, they do still get to you, however.
Yeah, that's fine.
So please take a damage, so you get to assign where it goes, but you have to take a damage somewhere, and you can't reduce it.
Yep. I will take that.
Alright, yeah, you realize that you barely manage to spot that they are backing up as this is going on, and you realize that your best bet here is to get all of the butterflies into an area where you can mow them down like grass. Unfortunately, they are already bearing down upon you, and they have latched themselves onto you as you suddenly realize that a group of them has managed to essentially burrow their way into your guts as you manage to, fortunately, brush them off as you move, but they have caused significant damage simply by that. Seemingly, strangely, the fact that there is so many of them swarming you at once, your regeneration almost seems to be targeted when it's in this mode, and the fact that it's trying to find where the issue is before it happens doesn't give it time to actually, like, address it with triage. Could you actually make me a roll here, Vex? All you feel is that tingling in your body, in your circulatory system that you're so familiar with at this point with the regeneration. You're in the middle of combat and you can't seem to figure out anything else beyond that, unfortunately, but you do definitely feel that there is, like, some other process going on that you're not conscious of. Anyway, so, with that being said, the butterflies in this zone are going to spend 3 to move into here. Hyde and Asura, what are you doing? Oh, if you just move into that hallway, you will technically juke them. But a reminder to Asura that they are not technically in the same zone as you yet.
Yeah. They're not in the same zone, so we could juke them, and it's probably a good idea for at least one of us to start doing that, right? Because if we're trusting Vex to be able to take out the butterflies, then, like, we need to start moving, you know? So, you know what? If that's the case and we can juke them, I think I'm good to effectively, you know, swap with them.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me.
Personally, right, I'm gonna ask you guys, like, planning for the future, does it sound like a bad idea to go 1-2, and then, like, in here on my next turn? Because that costs me 2, or should I stick? I think we should stick together. I'm just thinking, like, oh man, should I just go ahead and start beating the shit out of him?
Yeah, do keep in mind that if you do that, I can't get there because I only have 1 movement at a time. But
yeah, I'll just take 2 movement and we'll hang out here.
Okay.
Though, I suppose that then puts me in initiative again. But
yeah,
frankly,
But what happens is you and Asura see this opportunity of the butterflies rushing towards you out of the hallway, and you manage to essentially, like, take advantage of the fact that they have to move with momentum and reorient themselves as a swarm collectively to basically slide underneath them. And Hyde, you strip out ahead of Asura with your enhanced legs, and it is your initiative again.
Hyde takes a second. They see Godman, and for a moment, they're like, oh, you know, it might be good to, like, go in and get directly next to him. But Hyde clenches his fist. He's not going to rush into danger. Asura is here. They may as well wait it out. What Hyde will do, at the very least, is, I'll use my spine to, reduce the AP of, my legs.
Oh, so you just hold your turn, basically, yep. Yeah. Cha-cha. That means it's everyone once more. So, what happens at this point is you see that, the butterflies are going to use an ability, which is basically a reinforcement ability. So, what they'll do is they basically get to reduce their number, by 1 in order to summon a dice roll amount of more of them, basically. Oh, so you are basically now contending with a potential, like, snowball effect with them. So these blue ones are going to reduce. It does cost them action points, though. That is something to keep in mind. So they spend 2 in order to reduce how much they have by 1, so they're down to 9. But let me roll a d6 4, and these ones that are in the zone with you, Vex, they will just be doing an attack versus you, which will mean that you'll take the damage automatically. But because this is all happening simultaneously, you do get to make your attacks with no penalties first. But let me ask Hyde and Asura what their plan is before we get to you.
Do we want to just keep approaching in?
I think we could just take a walk right into limbo and like stance up.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I think it's either that or I try and help Vex with a, a blast, especially since, like, I'm not in the butterflies are in the area where if I fuck up, it won't, like, ruin our mission chance, right? Like, I could try and help Vex with that, but it's either that or we go up, I think.
My one question is, what's it look like Godman's thinking?
Make me a roll with a +2 because of your eyes.
Bing bong. No.
His weird fucked up skull horse face is making it hard to read his emotions beyond his body language, and right now he just looks as pissed off as he did before as well.
Okay. There's nothing more we can do unless we want to go and tango with the butterflies. You following my lead, Asura?
You know what? Yeah, sure. I'll follow your lead.
Hyde steps into limbo.
And Asura will follow.
You step in, and, Asura.
Yeah.
You go to move, but something is wrapped around your leg. Yeah, so they don't even have to roll for this because this is just a hinder move. It's not an attack. So there is no attack check needed to be made. They simply spend the amount. You look down as you suddenly realize that you have been grasped by the leg, and you see this fleshy tentacle wrapped around your ankle, and it seems to be like. It seems to be made of this combination of, like, ligaments and hair and teratomas, which are basically, like, fucked up tumors made of hair and teeth and that kind of thing. Right. It looks awful. And you see it snaking out from underneath one of the basins as it trips you up as you suddenly find yourself prone on the ground when Hyde strips out ahead of you.
Oh, damn it!
And Velx reduces her AP by 1, as it was her who did that. Vex, make your attack.
Oh, I'm spending a thing to reroll that. Or I'm gaining a thing, basically.
Yeah, gain a bloodthirst, and you do get an extra +1 because of that, because of struggle.
Yep. Alright, that works at least. I will turn that into an area attack as well.
That will be 2 damage because of the 1 doubled. And then you get to make your chain attack. That is another 2 damage, because that applies to the entire attack, if I'm not mistaken.
So as Asura gets knocked to the ground prone, after, exclaiming, she grimaces, grits her teeth, sees Vex dealing with these butterflies and how, like, they're swarming around and in some ways seeming like they're multiplying, dancing around Vex's blade, just turns around, cups her hands yet again, and is going to attempt to help her out. So, bada bing. No, not great. I could spend funny... Yeah, bloodthirst that. So I'm gonna bloodthirst that. Let's see it. Nah, alright, not this time.
No, not this time. You are thoroughly taken off guard and clattering to the ground. You try to spin around to get an angle on these butterflies that Vex is dealing with. But with the angle that you're at, it would just be too risky. It's too much. You don't manage to get the shot off just because you just hold back. It's just not worth it. Right. Them's the breaks. Right. So next up, it's Godman, and with that, Godman springs into action. He is going to use a. This is a fun little enemy-exclusive thing, which is a fun little thing I get to do. It's called Charge. He could spend an extra 1 on top of his normal movement cost, which in this case is 3, to put him down by 4, in order to make an attack at the end of his movement.
Right.
So... You watch as, seemingly their plan coming together. Velx, Hyde, before you can even realize that Asura is no longer on your back, Godman is on you. He leaps forward, and these twisted and strange claws suddenly swipe down into you. This is with a +1 because he has Mad Demon. That is a hit. Will you do anything about that?
Yeah, I will use foot to hinder 1. If I had to guess, this is now Velx's cue.
Yes, it is. Velx, you have surmised, is the support. Velx uses her once per round support with Vine, which allows her to do a support at range or a hinder at range. You see as once again you go to bring up your foot to try and just like trip him, but there is once again a surreptitious vine of strange hair and flesh that has been wrapped around your leg that pins you in place, and you are helpless to watch as Godman fucking lands a 3 damage attack on you.
Alright.
You get to pick where it goes though, because you did not get that good of a hit.
So, what I'm gonna do, right, I will target it towards my head, and I will then use my cyborg to defend myself.
Okay.
And, to flavor this, what happens is, right, as it goes in, Godman lands a very nasty cut along Hyde's face, and he reels back a moment. And as he leans forward, he takes his mirror, shakily brings it up to his face, and grips it tightly as he puts it back. I was gonna say I thought I was more beautiful than you. But now, I'm gonna make that a reality. Red steam begins to emit off of him as he has broken his limiter. He is pissed the fuck off.
Literally, because you are so vain that you're pissed off beyond belief. And you immediately gain +2 action points. I know that's not necessarily how it strictly works, but I like it better that way. Hyde, it's your initiative.
I'm going to hit him with the meat snakes.
Alright, go for it.
That's a no, but I'm gonna re-roll it, because meat snakes allows me to do that once.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Alright. And then we're gonna go for the second one, and then we're gonna go for the third one. Alright. And honestly, what I will do is I will spend the one from my extra eyes to give that a +2.
Right, so the first one does hit. How much damage is that?
That would be 3 damage.
And that goes to his arms, because that landed a 9. You watch as the first snake lands and bites into his arms, and you see that it shreds the muscle off of his shoulders as he screeches, but then follows it up with a and your second one comes in. Yes, because Godman still has his foot. So what happens is Velx uses her enemy exclusive part, which is Gimmicky Trap, which is just another version.
True.
It's just another version of Vine, which allows her to, again, at cost 0, hinder 1. Then Godman does another hinder 1 with his foot. Velx has another fucking hinder move, but that's her fucking lot. That is her final one.
I don't even think I need the animal eyes. I'll just meat snakes again on my next turn. You fucks.
You watch as this first snake comes in and tears across his arm, and the second one is coming in from a different angle. Velx, suddenly makes a noise of surprise as she realizes exactly how bad this is, and you watch as the robes at her feet suddenly shift in like instinctual reaction, and one of them lashes out from the hallway, grabs onto the snake directly, pulls it to the side, and it's not enough, but it's just barely made to go off target by Godman pushing off of his back heel and dodging out of the way. Only barely. And Godman snarls and just goes, "Now this is what I wanted."
I could tell.
Hey gang, welcome to the break. Sorry to do it in the middle of combat, which is usually something that I try to avoid for the most part, but this was a pretty chunky one. Lots of stuff was cut to, well, not like lots of stuff, like loads of chopping and changing here and there, making sure that, you know, small moments of uncertainty were cut out to just get things really nice and snappy, but yeah, no, with the amount of players in this one, it was a pretty monstrous combat, to say the least. So, yeah, a couple of points of order. First of all, as usual nowadays, if you're listening to this on YouTube, direct your eyes to the screen for the fan art that is on a little carousel for you to see. But other than that, I want to give a special thanks to two prompters who provided me with the prompts for both Godman and Velx. That being BarroKiteer for Velx and GoblinPink for Godman. Thank you so much for that. It was a blast working with those prompts in particular, as I'm sure you have seen. And we'll see more of. But yeah, no, without further ado, I don't think there's anything else to do other than get into the shilling. So, if you are interested in getting ahead of schedule with listening to these episodes, then you can support me at the same time and go over to my Patreon at patreon.com/eternal_savvy. Again, that is eternal_savvy, where you can get the next episode right now for as little as $1 a month. You can support me for more than that if you just want to be super cool and awesome and you want to just, you know, help me out. But even the smallest amount of $1 a month will be enough to get that episode. If you want to find when this is going live, just see me posting my art, or, you know, the very rare occasions where I post anything else, you can find me on Blue Sky at the same @ of eternal_savvy. I also have a Twitch channel at twitch.tv/eternal_savvy, and pretty much the only place where I am not eternal_savvy is my VOD channel, which is staying_savvy. I'm no longer on Twitter, as a fair note for that as well, so if you see me on Twitter anymore, that is not me. Other than that, oh right, yeah, if you want to submit fan art, then you can either drop it on Blue Sky and tag me, and use the hashtag Heart of Hope, or you can join my Discord and post it in the little the fan art section there, which is also where you can submit prompts for characters if you want to have a shot at having one of your prompts show up as a character at some point in the game. But with everything being said, I'm pretty sure, I think that means that we can just get back to the episode. I won't belabor the point, since this is a pretty chunky episode as is. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Once again, a thank you to BarroKiteer for Velx and GoblinPink for Godman. Let's get back to the episode. Bye-bye. Velx is going to use Flesh Whip against you. That is going to hit your arms, though. Is there anything you can do?
I could use my cyborg again.
You could. That would be in response to the damage. That may be worthwhile, considering that this is an unarmed attack 2 with chain attack incoming.
Yeah, I will choose to do that.
Okay. You managed to reduce the damage from that. You see that this time, again, coming up from underneath her robes, she kind of looks to you and just goes, "I see you are far more dangerous than I understood. I will not let you walk into this house of worship and simply run amok." And the Flesh Whip, suddenly gaining momentum, slams down into you as one of your snakes once again bursts forth from your body and essentially parries it. She suddenly gets this sneer on her face as she realizes that you are a lot more, a lot more competent than she may have expected. One of the swarms of butterflies sweeps around into the central area, into where Hyde is. Next up, it's you, Hyde, and the other two swarms of butterflies.
Now, I've got a question, right? do I go for the chase on Velx and go into Hades, or should I just stay here and keep trying to beat on Godman?
If you're asking me, I think we need to get rid of Velx, personally.
Yeah, so, like, Hyde is just radiating this aura of, like, just... Like, I would almost equate it to, like, a bloody mist that simply fucking, like, exudes off of him from just how mad he is. And he takes this look at Godman, right? And effectively, as they're sitting here in this standoff, for a moment, Hyde, whose hands have been in his pockets this whole time, he quickly raises a hand out of his pocket and, like, makes, like, a, gonna punch you gesture. But in that same motion, while he's trying to psych out Godman, he just goes and leaps towards Velx.
You jump towards Velx and you go into the danger zone of the other basins. However, you are now in Hades, which triggers your ability, as you mentioned, where you now get a +1 to all of your attacks.
Yay!
Next, however, the butterflies with you, Vex, they do just get to land that damage on you for the 3 cost.
Yep.
So damage another part. Yep. That is your legs, your arm. There's one leg, one arm, and 1 entrails that are currently damaged. Yep. The other ones are going to... I think they are also just going to move into here. So 1, 2, 3, like that. Right. Next up is Godman, Velx, and Vex. So Vex, let's deal with you first, since yours is probably going to be a little simpler.
Vex has been swiping at these things with her scythes, and fast as she is, it's difficult to winnow them down. So she's gonna try to, like, basically take, like, a slight step back, trying to bunch the swarm up as they go to follow her just enough that she can just blast several of them with her fucking gun.
Hell yeah.
Yes, okay, that's just 3 damage straight up, isn't it?
Yep.
You level your giant pistol, the caliber on this thing being more akin to a rifle, and you aim for the biggest cluster. Normally firing a gun into a swarm of insects would be a bad idea, but with how insane this thing is, you just watch as it, like, half through air pressure and half through, like, the fucking muzzle fire, just punches a hole directly into the center of mass of this swarm, and, like, a whole bunch of them just fall to the floor as ashes.
She ejects a very oversized cartridge from it.
Hell yeah. Right, it is Velx and Godman.
Go on. Since you wanted to tell me how ugly I was, keep talking.
Velx... I think Velx is just actually gonna be smart and keep to her plan. You run up to go to her, and she suddenly elevates herself, moving on these strange vines, these mutated vines, and dances over you, using the basins above you, the various, because there's multiple levels of them, using them to hang on and just pull herself to safety. She just moves into limbo.
Alright, I would like to use a rapid timing ability. As Velx starts trying to go up and start moving and all of that, Hyde rips his hands out of his pockets and goes for 2 just quick punches on her, and we'll go for the first one.
Right, so she has exactly 1 thing left at this exact range of 0, which is her foot. Which would only put this down to letting her pick where things go. I think she does actually care enough about this, because the 7 means it's going to her legs, which is where a lot of her shit is. So, like, I think she's actually gonna do that. She is gonna spend... Yeah, she will overspend and use the 1 to just, as you go for the strike, she basically just lowers herself in such a way as to avoid you being able to just go for her legs and, like, start tearing at the various tentacles. She purposely puts herself in range of you better in order to avoid, like, where her more important parts are. And she just goes for, like, a cross-arm block as you do this. I mean, give me some flavor as to how you just beat her arms into non-use.
As she puts her arms in the way, that proves to be, like, maybe not a worse idea than letting Hyde just pummel at her legs, but Hyde, in his state, not only are his just snakes that he has dangerous, his hands punch almost as hard as bullets. They just go in with the speed and force, and her arm, like, the bone cracks, crumbles, shatters even under the weight of it. Flesh is just sort of rent from the force of his knuckles hitting her arms, and he's going to go for another few hits because this has chain attack.
Oh, make the roll. Damn, that is hitting her torso. Right, and that is another how much damage?
That's another 3. As he even pummels through the arms, he basically just takes his hand and bats her arms away before just pummeling her chest.
Yeah, okay. So I'm actually... Oh shit! Okay, I just realized a thing. Velx has an ability called Crawling Flesh. This is an ability from the Stacy class. You may only use this skill when you are damaged. And you just damaged her. It is Hinder 3. She hinders that 8 into a 5.
Alright. And, hold on. That's a 5?
Yes, it is. Do you have any more supports left?
I didn't use my eyes.
Oh fuck, you didn't. Shit.
I'm going to up it so that now it's a 7, so I'm hitting her legs, you fuck.
Oh my god. You witness as, like, all of the parts of her that are disconnecting are still animate, and her arms, like, essentially willfully disconnect themselves, and, like, one of them goes to essentially try to grab you around the neck, but like still functioning off of its own, like, central nervous system somehow. But it's only to your advantage, as it wasn't able to blind you completely. Your other eyes are still exactly where they need to be, and you land that 3 damage into arguably a much worse place for her. Which means it is finally down to Godman's count. Godman is going to charge you, Hyde.
The sheer fact that Hyde has taken 1 damage out of all this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
This is bad. I can't defend myself again.
Yeah, oh no, you're out of defense now. 1, 2, 3.
Well, that's okay. You've got health.
Yeah.
This is with a +1. I, as the GM, am hoping I land this.
Ho ho, curse.
Oh, never mind. The curse. He jumps in to get you. And unfortunately for him, you have just been on your game at this point. Mainly because you are just, like, so pissed off that this is just no longer a game to you. And he misses entirely as this goes on. Fortunately, this is not like an area attack or anything like that, so it just straight up misses. None of the basins are damaged. Last on the count is the butterflies, and they're just gonna move in with you, Hyde, into that basin area.
Jesus, dude. You can't just throw that on a guy. New roommates, like...
Well, you've made yourself a fucking big target, which is good, and we want that, but...
Yeah. This is what I want.
So, we are at the bottom of the round, which means everybody please gain a bloodthirst. Additionally, there is an effect which will now reveal itself. There is a new group of butterflies coming in at Tartarus.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Oh god, me and Godman are going on the same initiative.
You are.
Of course.
And she's at -2, so she's actually at 7 because of all of that. Right. Well, we're back up to top of initiative, and Vex, it is back to you.
Vex is gonna basically nod at Asura as she sees her taking aim at these butterflies as well, and dash into this hallway.
And we are back to the fight of the century, Godman versus Hyde. Godman looks to you, snarls, and just goes, "No more hit and run. This is just the two of us." And he levies out his claws and goes into a stance which seems to be a lot more agile, as he is no longer lumbering towards you, but like back on his haunches of his animal legs, and is like looking to essentially just start doing all of these quick swipes at you. What are you doing?
Hyde effectively reels, just hands in pockets, stares down Godman with this fury in his eyes as he says, "I agree, though, much like with the rest of this, you're a hypocrite." And he's going to, he levies his meat snakes.
Okay. So, we will make our rolls. Let me make mine with my +1 because of Mad Demon. Oh boy, that's gonna be landing on your arms.
I'll make mine with my +1 because of my, Dweller of Hades.
Yes.
And that's gonna be his head, I think.
Oh, it sure is, unless Velx has something to say about it. Which she fucking is, because, I'm sorry to do this to you, but you have established yourself as a threat. Velx...
Keep using all of your hinders on me. It will not distract you from Asura. Don't look at Asura. Don't look at Asura.
So, so Crawling Flesh has a range of up to 2. So she will use that to immediately hinder that by 3, which puts it down to 7. She is then going to use... Oh god, she just straight up has to use her Gimmicky Trap and her Vine at the same time, leaving her with exactly 1 ranged hinder option. But she will do that to bring you down to 5. Are you going to do anything in response?
I will use my support 1 basic part. I forget what the fuck it is. It's the forearm. I will use that to make it a 6.
Right. In which case, I'm gonna make you burn it if you're fucking using it. She uses the final one, which I did not use on this particular occasion, to hinder it 1 again. So putting it down to 5 again.
That's it then. That's just that attack. And, for his attack, I'll use my cyborg.
He's gonna pump that up by 2 just so that it is not, reduced to 0. So it just goes back up to its normal value of 2.
Okay.
So that will put him down by 1, 2 for the claws, and then an additional 1 for the spikes. Okay.
In which case, I will take 2 damage to my arms location.
What have you destroyed?
My shoulder and my fist.
Lovely.
So effectively, as these attacks land, they cut into like his shoulder, and his hands are like just off effectively.
I think what it is, right, is that like he's going for you, and normally you would be able to kind of like deal with these by having your snakes get in the way, but the snakes themselves only have a certain number, like a certain ability to kind of get in the way, and sorry, let me just fucking start that sentence again. That was terrible. So I think the way that this basically happens, right, is that your damage reduction is partially your snakes and partially your skin hardening into that red scale-like material, right? So I think what happens is, Velx is you are literally being almost strung up like a fucking puppet in order to keep all of your snakes from hitting Godman. And Godman goes to hit you, and you catch his claws and harden your scales over your hand, and it's only once you basically are matching each other that he suddenly spawns a bunch of porcupine-like spikes out of his skin and into like parts of your arm that you weren't anticipating. And it is an insane back and forth that causes this to happen, but there we are.
Yep.
And Godman does that and just goes, "I didn't believe before that you, the dredges, were worth anything, but I see now exactly how you got your reputation."
A lack of respect.
he says simply.
And next up is Asura and the butterflies.
Yeah. New hit band, Asura and the Butterflies? Right. If that's the case, then, Asura, who's still partially prone from the previous tripping, looks to Hyde and the fight he's having up there. Eyebrow twitches a little bit. No fair. Why does he get all the fun? As I'm gonna impulse, increasing my fetter with Hyde because haha, right?
Yep.
And I'm gonna do that such that I can use my funny blast as no cost, and I'm gonna try and get these guys.
Okay.
So, boop.
Yes.
There we go.
That is plenty. And I believe that is 3 damage doubled to 6, right?
Yep.
Alright, that handily blows them out of the sky. The plasma turns them into fleshy, carapace-like slag as it all hits the ground with a horrible slop.
Yep. As Asura then turns to Velx and Godman, but primarily Velx in this case. Oh, all that religious posturing. And for what, huh? What? You want to show us the fruits of your labor? Well, I'm seeing them, and they've gone rotten. Fucking just get blasted. I can support that. If she's gonna fucking reduce it, make her spend the shit. So, I'm gonna go ahead, use, overclock, as she does this, literally, she says that, extends her arms out towards Velx, right? And then, a little, how would I say it? Not like a full-on, knob, but, a small section of her head, right? Near, the temple, right? Glows, burning a light from, hot steel flame as, literally cartoon-style steam erupts from her ears and mouth, right? And she's gonna fucking support 2 that with overclock. So that's up to a 6.
And Velx has fucking used everything on Hyde, so there is no way for her to inhibit that. At least not without you being in the same zone as her, because all she has left... Oh no, wait, her foot is destroyed. It got fucking blown off. Anyway. Yeah, no, you land this shot. She gets to pick where it goes. How much damage is it?
This is the same thing I've been doing, so I think it's just 3, since she actually has places the target. But it does have explosive and stagger, and so now they're actually applying the explosive effect.
Oh shit, okay. Right, so that does the same damage to an adjacent location.
So 3 to 2 locations, buddy.
She doesn't have anything on her arms anymore, so it has to go to her legs, and that is gonna destroy, pretty much everything she had remaining there. Fucking, yeah, and that reduces her fucking action points by 2. Velx, it lands on her lower half and begins to burn away at what is left of her. Her face is revealed as she, whips her head back in agony, and the hood slips from her, and you can see this surprisingly intact face, but only with a few, scarification, marks on her forehead and cheekbones. Ritualistically done, you imagine. And, but her face is untouched, but the rest of her body is burning or blown apart, and it is searing into her as she screams. And, she kind of, at this point, screams out and just goes, "Please have mercy."
Oh, how many times did the collectors say that, huh?
She is still in combat, but she has precious little things to be able to do. That being said, Vex and the butterflies. The butterflies are not... It's not those butterflies that are in the room.
No, it's
with
the
you.
Hyde ones.
Yeah, but Hyde, you will be taking 1 damage non-negotiably. And Vex, what are you doing?
Vex is just gonna keep moving, sprinting forward into the room with Velx. Her cries for mercy only met with her burning stare.
Alright. Yeah, move yourself down. It is Godman's turn. Godman turns to look at Velx, who is just a sizzling cadaver with a perfectly intact face at this point, which is fucked in its own regard. I gotta consider Godman here.
Let's consider him for a moment.
Let's consider him for a moment.
I'm considering.
Now, Godman likes Velx. But the thing is, Godman literally has delusions of, like, being a god, so...
And a man, perhaps?
Yeah, a godman, perhaps. I cannot foresee a world in which he does not stop fighting. That being said, no, I think he's just gonna go for you again, Hyde. He's gotta, I think. Yeah, here comes the roll. He glances over his shoulder at Velx with Vex looming over her burning body, and Godman just goes, You think you can be rid of me? You think you could be done with us? I won't let that happen. It's impossible. And he's just gonna go and attack you. Oh shit! That is, that's gonna be a crit.
I can hinder one that, but I don't imagine that's any better.
I mean, it means that he can't choose the location.
It means he can't choose, but he would just go for your head anyway, and hindering it one will mean it goes to your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, hindering it one will just mean that he doesn't get that extra 1 damage at least. So actually, I am going to do that.
That is, however, still pretty bad for you. That is going to be 2 damage to your head.
I will Delight in Corruption and use Cyborg to defend my head.
That is, Frank, God, picking Delight in Corruption to double defend 2 is probably one of the best things you could have done.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so the claws, once again, he goes for your head, and this time around, you are running out of options. You are strung up like a marionette. However, a wicked grin crosses your face, and before the claws can even meet their mark, he watches as the red scales just erupt over your face, and they skim off, causing almost like a fucking glitter of red crimson chipping to just scatter behind you as it leaves you untouched.
This poor motherfucker is like Raiden trying to beat the shit out of Armstrong. Standing Here is playing right now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I think these butterflies are going to do a reinforce. The new butterflies from the back of the room, they are going to move into the room, into the center of the room with you, Vex. And now, holy shit, I feel like this is probably going to be the deciding turn. This is a clusterfuck turn between one set of butterflies, who are the ones who are in the room with Hyde, Velx, Godman, and fucking,
Asura and Vex.
Asura and Hyde. Yeah, fuck me. It's everyone.
It's everybody except for like a couple butterflies.
Right, so... Okay, so there is actually exactly one thing left on Velx's legs, which is the, she's got her tentacles, which allow her to hinder move, which is basically it at the moment. Oh, God. She sits there. All she can do is sit there and weep as she is just pleading for mercy. You see that her eyes start to, well up with tears as this happens, as she looks up to you, Vex. I don't know what... She literally can't spend her action points for anything other than waiting, so that's gonna be what she does. Godman is gonna be attacking you again, Hyde. Right, that being said, Vex, what are you doing?
I won't pretend that Vex feels absolutely nothing at Velx's pleads for mercy. However, Vex simply draws on the wealth of experience she's had with enemies trying to pretend like they've surrendered in order to get a sneak attack on you, or enemies that pretend to have the moral high ground when really they're just another job, and she's just going to, as the butterflies come in as well, all that does is simply adjust the angle of her slice, as she's just going to slash everybody in this room apart as best as possible. Well, I can support myself 1. I don't know if either of you can support me 1 more.
I have a +2, but I'm also scared of Godman.
That's true.
Alright, I'm gonna reroll then. I am now, like, almost maxed out on all of my feathers.
Oh boy.
Alright, well, I guess I can support that 1 and make that a 6,
Yes.
so it'll hit the butterflies.
And then re-roll the one for Velx. Yeah.
Yep.
Nah.
Oh,
Fucking
rough.
bitch. I imagine, honestly, the flavor of this is just that, like, Velx with all the, like, you know, fucking panicking and pieces she has left is just, like, just barely keeping, like, Vex at bay with tentacles that just get sliced up as Vex is also attacking the butterflies as well.
You take out some of the butterflies with one of your strikes, but Velx manages in her panic to just stay alive, holds you at bay.
She still has hinder move, right?
She does, unfortunately.
Yes, I tried. I'm trying to kill her.
Well, I can still try, I just can't move there, so I'm just gonna have to go for my fucking blast again. So, as Vex is going and slicing all around her, Velx managing to even slightly hold off the sides. Asura, in this case, similarly, not that she necessarily feels nothing, as it were, but regardless of how much Velx may be begging for mercy, that's simply not the situation that she has put herself in, and I mean, we know what's going on here. As
Absolutely.
Asura is just going to yet again level her arms like a cannon, and is going to attempt to fire on her. All right, I'm gonna need to re-roll that. Oh,
That is no luck. She is too far down on the ground, and it isn't helped by the fact that you can feel the tentacles just slowly wrapping themselves around your legs, just not preventing you from aiming, but like they are just distracting. And with her being prone, it's hard enough to land a ranged shot, you know?
so I think I'm going to try and use my rapid, right, my extra arms, and just try again. So let's give it a shot.
Okay.
Oh, nope. I could re-roll again, right?
You could, but that's a lot of bloodthirst you're adding. What are you at?
I don't have a lot left I can afford to do.
I mean, sometimes you could take a detriment, you know, it'll suck.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna spend the one more madness. Rather add the bloodthirst. Yeah, okay.
Do you have a support?
Holy
I have a support.
fucking shit.
I have a
You
support.
have support.
Yeah, I mean, I could just use my fucking forearm. I have that. I mean, I haven't taken any damage yet, so, like...
Okay, so, she still has stuff on her torso, which is the spine and the tentacles. She will target it there so that because she wants to live. However, yeah, you feel as, the last of her tentacles, the last of her abilities to hinder you in any way, you feel them go slack around your legs as you realize you see the trailing plasma running up hidden beneath the basins as they disconnect from her. She tries to scream, but it's laid into her torso so much that she can only really gasp inward as it lands on her chest, and that is that. That also reduces her action count. She is still alive. Her brain, it is disconcerting how untouched her head is. Now, we come to the real, the punchman hours. It is a classic brawl between Hyde and Godman. He's just gonna go for a 2-cost claw, and I imagine you're going for your fucking thing.
3 cost meat snakes, yeah.
And there ain't and we're all out of supports and shit, I believe. So.
Yup, so this is just how it is.
And we both get +1s. This is what it comes down to.
I have my animal eyes, but like...
This is straight up a stand rush at this point.
Well, at the very least, I get my reroll. Those are my fucking arms again.
Do you want to add the bloodthirst again? Oh no, you get the reroll just because it's meat snakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a 6.
That's a 6.
I have a +1.
It does hit, which is gonna be bad. It's worse news for him to be hit than it is for you. But with that being said, your scales subside, and you can't reconstitute them fast enough onto your arms in order to react. You take 2 damage to your arms, and considering that your mirror is at that location, I can only imagine that's going to have to be your remaining actual parts in favor of your mirror being destroyed.
That's the unfortunate bid, but that's okay.
You just do with all of the snakes just piled out of your body, strung up still, just barely at this point purely by tension, not even because of the muscles and tendons of Velx being connected, but purely just by virtue of them doing such a good job at holding them back. It's almost like your guts are being suspended, but they are all your snakes. And the last thing you have at your disposal in order to mitigate this damage somehow is just a good old-fashioned cross-armed block, and he tears through them. But in kind, with the new wound created in your arms, the blood spills out, and new snakes form anew to attack him as well, landing on his, I think he's probably gonna go for torso. That's 3 damage, right?
Yep, and unfortunately for him, this has chain attack too.
Honestly,
crit.
Honestly, I take it back. Hyde is equally as fucking horrifying as Asura.
I mean, honestly, I'm just gonna go for his arms.
Yeah, you destroy his claws, and you have another attack to make.
That's it, dude. I'm not going further.
That is a miss. Well, why don't you flavor that for me? Tell me what happens. You dig into his torso and his claws.
As he goes in and he goes and he just shreds Hyde's arms. Hyde, sobering a little bit from his rage, goes and says, "In any other situation, the wise decision would have been to go help the downed, but you're not wise. And this is why we're dredge." And he goes and tears his arms up. From the wounds in his arms, snakes spill out. One of them goes and quickly tears at his torso, and the claw that is just easily accessible, one of the snakes wraps around and simply rips it off.
There is a as this happens, and he just I see. Dredge. What it means to be dredge. And he is staring you down, unable to harm you, but his legs and his head fully intact. He is drooling saliva and blood.
Run, cry, cower, pray. Those are your options.
Godman will decide what he is doing when it gets to his count. In the meantime, hey, these butterflies are moving into this square, and it's now Godman's count with the other butterflies. So Vex, could you please take a non-negotiable damage to 1 part? Godman looks at you, Hyde, and he goes, I see. It's no use being God when the dredge are the gods in this city. And he inhales, and all of a sudden you watch as his legs tense, his remaining arm limp, and he does a triangle jump, banking off of the basins, rattling them but not damaging them, as he does a swift leap over your head and uses his movement to get behind you and run upstairs.
Damn it.
It is Velx, Hyde, and more of the butterflies. The butterflies are just going to deal a damage to you, Hyde. And what are you doing, Hyde?
I'm just going to take a damage to my legs, and honestly, what I'm going to just do is I'm going to meat snakes the butterflies.
Right, and that is 3 damage, and that is another 3 damage. So that is not. So they remain. Next up is Velx. She can't do shit. Vex and the butterflies. The butterflies are going to deal the damage to you.
Yep.
You have these swarms. Now, you watch as they come in, and they are starting to tear chunks out of you like you wouldn't believe. And it's all so, like, widespread and generally, like, decentralized. You can almost feel this regenerative nervous system of yours panicking as it's trying to just, like, it's trying to heal everything at once, and it is healing, but not at a rate which is useful to you in a combat, in the space of seconds, right? And, but you look around and you are absolutely swarmed.
How does holding an action work again?
You reduce your count by 1, and then it reduces the cost of a maneuver of your choice by the same amount.
Yeah, but it's within the same round, right?
I'm pretty sure that's within the same round, though, yeah. So, it would not be useful to you here.
Well, but honestly, I honestly think I'm gonna do that anyway, because if I were
just
to
be
attack,
at 0?
I'd rather be at 0 than make an attack that's not gonna do very much right now. I'm gonna just go to 0.
Right, so, everyone add a bloodthirst. And, Vex, it's your turn.
Asura and Hyde both hear Vex as she's just getting torn into by these things. Just let out. Almost similar to Godman in its ferocity, its primal anger, as her body suddenly just stiffens in response, almost shivering reflexively under this assault. Her blades, she holds to her sides once again, and she just starts moving. Almost absent of any exact command over her own faculties, her body just does what it does best. I'm going to try to massacre these people. And we will reroll. Come on.
With an extra +1 on top of it. Yes, and that's a crit.
I will be making this an area attack.
You can support that to make it an even bigger crit as well.
I will do that, I think, yeah.
Hey, Vex, right?
Yeah?
Is this attacking everyone in that area?
Yep.
Have +2.
Alright, so it is now a 15. So it is... Nothing will remain. Nothing will remain, because it's doubled against the butterflies. Literally, so both of you see, because I'm assuming Velx just isn't doing anything, can't do anything in response here, and neither can the butterflies.
Yeah, no, Velx is pretty much just on the ground and is at your mercy. This is gonna be 1 plus an extra... Fucking hell, yeah, just plus an extra 5 damage. This is now an... this is now an area attack 6!
And you both see as just... Vex starts moving. Despite the sheer number of butterflies still present, like... It doesn't matter how small the targets are if the entire room is engulfed in slashing steel. And, like, after she's done, and all the butterflies are finally gone, like, at a certain point throughout all of these slashes, at some point Velx dies. It's hard for either of you, least of all Vex, to tell when that happened. It was not anything intentional on her part. It is just simply that she keeps slashing until everything is gone.
Yeah, Asura, Hyde, you watch as this happens. It is, a beautiful dance of blades, and in the midst of it, you eventually hear the silencing of Velx's cries, and, it's not like Vex has taken apart and split every single butterfly into pieces or something, but has cut away at them so thoroughly, thinned their numbers so consistently with just this, like, strange, almost just dome of like, shining cuts, that by the time she's done, there is, like, barely even like a dozen butterflies just left in the room in total, and at that point they are no longer effective. And she lands to the ground, covered in insectoid viscera of a strange blue color. And, Hyde, I don't doubt that you could take care of the ones that are near you, so we're just gonna end combat there.
Vex finally just falls to her knees, panting.